Cool. So, what's up, guys? You look like my VP. Okay, I look like your vice president. Okay. I don't know if that's a good thing. Um, how's everybody doing today? Glitter, get me out of finance. What do you want to work in, Glitter? Do you blame Wall Street Oasis for convincing you to go into finance? Sorry, my feed's all messed up. I have like 500 cables on my desk because I have a lot of computer problems, but get me out of being basic. So you guys, I hope you don't hate the new logo, the new Wall Street Oasis logo. It only been like 10 years in the making. Hey, Lebelo. Hey guys. No, I needed money for an art studio. Very cool, Glitter. Well, hey, do what you love. IB at BMO, Harris, or acquisitions at Starwood. Ooh, if you're coming right out of school, I'd probably say IB at BMO. Because I think it just leaves more doors open. I think you can go real estate, go niche later. They're both great jobs. Hey, Luke. What's up? Hey, Josh. This week's posts are fire. I feel like we're getting better, man. Did you guys see that the applications are open for Monkey to Millions? Yeah, I kept the palm tree on the logo. You guys had a lot to do with that. I know you guys were voting. So real quick, I'll post it here. Let me see if I can link to it. Basically, Monkey to Millions is a new show. Whoops, did I just lose you guys? Sorry, I don't even know how to use this thing. I don't even know how to comment. It's called Monkey to Millions. It's on the homepage, or just look it up. We're basically launching a new show. It's probably going to take us like 2-3 months to get it live. But basically, the applications are open. People are submitting them right now, where we profile basically college students. Oh, you can't hear me? Shit. Can you guys hear me? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Can you guys hear me okay? Hopefully my service isn't all messed up. Okay, cool. So yeah, Monkey to Millions will be like a new podcast slash show that we're basically taking college kids or young finance professionals. I'll be mentoring them for anywhere from 6 months to up to 2 years. Basically trying to profile them and show that like no matter where you come from, these are the steps you can take to get better and try to break into like say banking, private equity, or just like maybe you're trying to make a career change into finance, stuff like that. So we open up the applications. Basically, we're offering free mentorship, free resume review, free all this stuff to basically allow us to talk to you and kind of put your story out there. So it's cool. We've got some great people already kind of in the applications, but I'm trying to just get it out there before we decide who to go with on this kind of first round. But basically, I'll be choosing probably anywhere between 2 and 4 people to mentor over like a very long time period. So it's basically like really going in depth on how to polish your resume, how to do all that stuff, and break in. So just a shout out for that in case you guys hadn't seen it. It's called Monkey to Millions. You can check it out on the site. So what's going on now? How's everybody doing? You guys see the insider trading story from that kid? Crazy. I would love to be an MBA analyst. Hey, Marcus. I didn't see your question about Jamie Dimon. Yeah, the applications are live, man. It's open. You can apply right. There's a Google form right on the site. You just search Monkey to Millions. Let me see. I think it's probably live. It might be on the homepage. Go to wallstreetoasis.com. Let me see. I guess it's not there. Oh yeah, it's at the bottom. It's kind of the bottom left. Or you can just type in Monkey to Millions. Let me see if that shows up. Monkey 2 millions. Yeah, it shows up. And there'll be a link to the Google form. Yeah, supposedly Bill was had plans to leave the country. So I think he knew what he was doing. So not much sympathy for him. Kind of an interesting move. Kind of a high risk move, right? He didn't even clear that much. I think he cleared like 100K. Kind of a career limiting move. I don't recommend that. What do you think of Deutsche Bank? Asks Alex. Alex, I think Deutsche Bank has had a really tough time of it of late. Reputation wise, deal flow wise, just the banking side of things has gotten just obliterated. So yeah, not good. I think they still have a really strong presence in Europe, but here in the U.S. especially, I think it's been a tough go of it in the last year or so. Kigo, can people from outside of America apply? Yes, although it's going to be tough for me to accept people outside the U.S. just because I wouldn't know. There's all the visa issues. I wouldn't even know how to guide you well. Do you know what I mean? In terms of what I'm looking for in applications for Monkey to Millions, I would love there to be. I want you, number one, to be really hardworking. I'd actually prefer if you don't come from a lot of privilege and you're already at a target school. I prefer you to be smart, hardworking, and maybe not in the best situation where you need financial aid and or you're at a non-target, but you discovered finance late or banking, you want to actually break in. So I think it'd be a lot of fun. All these boys think they're Jordan Belfort. Man, your form filled with scumbag underage kids. Amjad said, man, your form is filled with scumbags underage kids. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Amjad. Julian asks, where's the Monkey to Millions info? Just go to Google Monkey to Millions. It should show up. Or just go to the homepage or just go on to Wall Street Oasis, search Monkey to Millions. Daniel, you should apply. Everyone should apply, man. I think it's kind of one of those things where the give is you let us profile you. The take is that we kind of work together one-on-one over a longer time frame to try and make it happen. Let's see. Would a Canadian dual citizen with U.S. just breaking into real estate private equity hunting for IB at a non-target have a decent shot? Absolutely. Jones and 3, I think that would fit. Especially if you're hunting for IB from a non-target, that's right up our alley. Favorite food? I love Mexican food, Italian food, lasagna, basically anything that's not that good for you. I love a good piece of fish, actually, which is pretty good for you. When are decisions going to be made for choosing applicants? Pretty soon, man. We opened it up a couple days ago. We've already had some pretty interesting applicants send their thing. It really just depends. I think we could take up to, it depends finding the right people. We could take up to, I think 4 would be the max. Right now I don't see 4 people in there that I'd be jumping up and down to take. There's more 2, I think. So there's still a couple slots open. Down to Finances. So Patrick, you're a restructuring guy. Are you familiar with revolver netbacks? No, I am not. I am not familiar with that. I've been out of finance for a long time. Throwback Celtics hat. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Born and raised in Boston. I'm out in California now, but I still stay true to my roots. Pizza's the only food, one bite. Everybody knows the rules. For those of you that know that reference. Were you not your father's broker? Were you you from Boston? Binny from Corporate says, what's your thoughts on the accounting versus finance major? I think accounting's probably a harder major to get a good GPA, but I think they're both pretty, if you're targeting a finance or accounting job, it makes a lot of sense. Accounting, I say, would probably have, you can think of it as almost like a higher floor, lower ceiling, whereas the finance major typically, I think, lower, almost if you think of it as NBA draft, you can think of you can think of accounting almost as like the guy who's been in college for 4 years and is going to be a rotation player, maybe back into the bench, versus the finance major, maybe more like the 17-year or 18-year-old that tore his ACL, but was one of the top recruits in high school. So much more variance, I think, into finance major. Accounting major, you're almost guaranteed to have the job. It doesn't mean you're going to necessarily get in banking. And stuff like that. See, are most webinars pre-recorded? Do you plan to do more live? I try to do live at least once every few weeks on here, just to chat up with you guys. But yeah, we record. Some of the webinars are live, some of the webinars are pre-recorded. Just depends on kind of how much we're putting out that given month. What do I think about Bill Sy? I think it's crazy. I think I saw somewhere that actually I got a tip from an inside source saying that he actually was planning to leave the country. He had plans to leave, so I think he knew what he was doing, which makes me feel a lot. Any sympathy I did have for him, which wasn't much, it went out the window. What kind of laptop to use? Ideally, I don't use a laptop. I use a piece of shit Origin PC gaming computer that is right there on my floor and is completely useless because of, well, they don't know why. It went to shit about 2 months ago, so I'm on this Dell laptop. I had to steal it from my wife with 5,000 wires and 5,000 things hooked up. So, yeah, I have that. I got another desktop on the way. But yeah, I guess I use this Dell laptop. It's functional, but like there's 5,000 wires since it's a laptop. Let's see. He traded on his own deal. I know. It's just crazy. Get yourself a MacBook. I would if I could use Excel and not like stumble over that keyboard. And I don't feel like doing a virtual machine and running Excel when I need Excel to run it through there. Although I'm getting closer to making just the full switch to Google Sheets. But I still struggle with it, with all the that tells you how like ingrained Excel shortcuts become into your brain after 2 years of banking. I did banking from 02 to 04, 02 to 04, and I still like am addicted to. I still like can't get away from Excel. But yeah, I've heard good things about Mac. Celtics are garbage. We'll see, man. We'll see. I like it. I like the trash talk. Google Sheets, I'm appalled. I know, Gene. I know. It's good for little startups, though, like us. We're not doing any hardcore models over here at Wall Street Oasis. M. Berger says, engineering degree, have experience in middle office data science. A good candidate to apply? For sure, M. Berger. I think you should definitely apply. It depends kind of what you're targeting. I'd probably be better if you were targeting finance, banking, private equity, that type of thing. But the other option we have, which we might do, even if you apply, even if I'm not the mentor that kind of takes and does the sessions with you, we might actually tap one of our 300 mentors that we have for our mentor service. That would be that might be an option as well. So it's not as if, Monkey to Millions is coming out. My guess is we probably won't release the first episodes for another few months, but we're going to start recording hopefully in the next month. Basically, Monkey to Millions is a documentary series following, let's say, 3 to 4 college students or young finance professionals trying to make as they approach like a critical career pivot or moment, whether it's trying to get that first internship out of undergrad into banking, whether it's they're in banking and they're trying to get to PE, although I think that's less realistic because most people are not going to be willing to document that. But it could be somebody, let's say, in another part of finance trying to lateral into banking, stuff like that. So we've had applicants all across the range. Getting a sense of FOMO. Why are you getting a sense of FOMO? You target more traditional banking type roles, but open to most. Well, cool. Yeah, you should definitely apply, Hamburger, for sure. DHRU, or I can't even say that. Varu. I'm at a bulge bracket bank and IB Risk. They're moving the entire division to Texas. I don't want to move. I just started on the farm a few weeks ago, and I have a tough time figuring out how to recruit now. That is a tough. You just started and now they're moving the entire division. That's shitty timing. Figuring out how to recruit. I mean, ideally you've have some sort of network that you built up during your time. You were looking for the initial job. You can start. You should definitely let people know. I mean, that's if you want to stay around that same city, you should stay tuned. Um, RI Thieves. How good were you at squash? Not very. Need to know if you were a back office Brad playing last in the team or a god tier player. I I think I broke at Williams College. We were ranked fifth in the country, and I managed by my like junior year to get up to like the seventh or eighth spot on the team. So I wasn't that good. But I was, for a squash player, I was relatively athletic, at least for college. Um, but yeah, not in terms of skill. I didn't start playing until I was in high school, so I wasn't that good. Let's see here. Yeah, but any other questions, you guys, in terms of applications? It's not for just people trying to break into banking. It could be people trying to make a transition, a pivot. It could be people. It could be people just basically that are trying to like get some guidance in terms of what to do next. How often do I check the Instagram account? Daily. I'm always staying up to date. Liam is the one running it day to day. Let's see here. Would you still recommend people go into investment management when sell side trading continues to downsize while asset management under pressure to shift to passive? Chong, Rachel, I think it really depends if that's what your passion is. If you really are into stocks or whatever and into trading the market, then it's kind of tough to say don't do it. I think you shouldn't do it chasing money. That's for sure. I think you should do it because you're actually passionate about it and you feel like you can. You're willing to put in the time to get really good at it. But no, I wouldn't recommend it just in a vacuum. Can I apply to bulge bracket IB in the U.S. with a master's in management from a well-known French business school? This is Alot Mani. I have no idea, man. I assume you could. I just don't know what your luck will be, especially with all the visa issues. Economics versus finance major. That's easy. Econ wins. Every day, all day. Just kidding. I was an econ major, so I'm biased. Wall Street Oasis app release timing. Very, 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 very soon. Mobile app is coming. It's literally in like the final stages. We might release the mobile app, at least Android, today or tonight. But it takes like a day or two, I think, to approve in the Play Store. iTunes or Apple takes, I think, 1 to 2 weeks, and that's probably getting submitted tomorrow. So that's still a little bit away. Definitely before the end of August. It has taken us a lot longer to get all the bugs out of like the notifications, all that shit. No, I don't hate Apple. I'm just not. I just never got into. I actually owned an iMac in college. Funny thing, way back in the day. Let's see here. What are people saying? Can I apply with little experience in finance but interested in breaking in? My major was global supply chain management. This is Leanna. Oh, you mean to the Monkey to Millions thing? Interested in breaking in, major was global supply chain management. Yeah, you can definitely apply, Leanna. I don't see why not. It depends. I think it's harder if you're like way out of school. It's going to be harder because you're kind of have already been probably in your niche for a while. So if you've done supply chain, maybe the show would be about you trying to kind of prep yourself to position yourself for like business school to help you pivot better. But yeah, I'd be open to taking a look. Finance major from non-target University of Tampa. Could I break into IB? I think anybody, Carly, I think anybody can break into investment banking. The question is it a good firm? How hard are you willing to work? So IB there's lots of firms that call themselves investment banks, but you wouldn't want to work there. But yeah. Why do you think LinkedIn is such a necessity staple? Because it's probably the only place you can do filtered searches around careers and industries and get so much access so fast. Glad you got a laugh out of Bill Sy, the inside guy. That's all Liam. That wasn't me. Um, Patrick, did any of your classmates from Wharton MBA end up in good seats at top hedge funds? Um, to be honest, I haven't kept up with too many of my MBA buddies as much as I should. But yeah, a few of them have done very well for themselves. Ended up at not just hedge funds, but in like a PIMCO and some niche funds. So it depends how you define top hedge funds. Some of them are in senior roles at kind of smaller middle market funds too, doing quite well for themselves for sure. Yes, I went to business school. I went to Wharton 2008 to 2010. Carly asks, have you heard of the MSF program, specifically a springboard into IB? Carly, I have heard of that. In fact, one of Wall Street Oasis's notorious user, TNA, he has a site called MSF HQ, MSF headquarters. I think you've probably heard of it if you've done any research. I know the MSF for domestic students tends to be a much higher hit rate, breaking into investment banking. I actually had a podcast with a guy who did an MSF who was able to break into banking out of it, but it's definitely not a ticket. It's not a guaranteed thing. You kind of have to be hustling on your own and be already landing your internship before you get in, because you're basically recruiting. It's a 1-year program, so you're recruiting right away. I didn't know Down to Finance went to Wharton. No. Please ignore. At a bulge bracket, what is A to A direct percentage versus incoming MBA associate? Good question. I would guess that it's going A to A is increasing, or at least the banks are trying to get it to increase because they're losing, as it's a way to kind of trying to retain some of their analysts. If I had to guess a number, this could be way off, but across all bulge brackets, I'd still say the majority is coming out of MBA, so probably like 70%, 80% MBA associates and 20 to 30% A to A. That's basically my guess. Why is the real estate subforums the most fire of all? I don't know. People love real estate. It's funny because I was super anti new forums, but people have asked me for the real estate, so we threw it up, and it's now, I think, the second most popular forum behind investment banking, which is shocking given it's only like 5 years old. How old is too old to realistically apply to IB at the analyst level? I'm 23. Hey, Nick. Realistically, yeah, you start getting old once you're 23 is not too old for sure. I've seen analysts much older. There's kids that go to the military and kind of start later. There's people who kind of reset and pivot, come in laterally, maybe do like transaction advisory services, and their second job is banking. So yeah, 23 is not too late. Just depends how you're setting yourself up. Hopefully by 23, you're at least starting to get yourself into the right roles to pivot and get in. Patrick, which bank has the worst application system? I have no idea because I haven't applied to a bank in 20 years, 15 years. Follow-up, is that due to attrition? So the MBA is better qualified. I think it would most likely be due to attrition. The kids that jump out of the bulge brackets to go to private equity tend to be some of the better ones. The ones that they are offering analyst to associate promotes, some of them still leave. So a lot of it's due to attrition. I think the banks would love to hold on to more of their analysts and promote them to associates. That's like a dream because they tend to be much more efficient than the MBAs. Because they've been already working at the bank. They're already part of the team. There's no like ramp up there, and usually analysts are much better modelers than MBA people. So the technical side, they have it down and they can just run a deal. Someone's saying JPM HireView. Down to Finance saying JPM HireView is the worst. Down to Finance, wouldn't the HireView be the same across all of them though? Let's see. Thoughts on Bitcoin? I don't know. I own some, but whether it'll go to 0 or go to, I don't know, where is it at right now? 8,000, 10,000? I don't even look at it. I don't know. Let's see here. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized Jamie Dimons or 100 Jamie Dimon-sized ducks. Ooh. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized Jamie Dimons? That's tough. I think 100 Jamie Dimon-sized ducks. Thoughts, Patrick? Thoughts on kids that go into PE bi-side right out of undergrad? I think it's super impressive. I think the downside is you don't necessarily get as much training as you would at a bank, but if you want to be in PE, want to be in investing long term, I think it's a great option. I think it's super competitive though. Yeah, down to finance. JPM makes you take videos of yourself answering interview questions. Yeah, I think most of the bulge brackets do that now. 3 of those a year. You mean D-Layer? It's you're following up. Let me go back. Can't remember what the chain was. 3 a year. You mean in terms of like analyst to associate promotes? I think it just depends on the bank, man. I don't know. Oh, straight to buy side? Yeah, super rare. Super rare. 3 a year. I think KKR has launched an analyst program, or relaunched it, brought it back recently. So there's that. They'll probably hire more than 3, but you get the idea. It's super limited number of seats. You got to be really sharp. I actually interviewed a girl on a podcast recently who broke in straight from undergrad, straight to buy side, and she was super impressive. So if you want to listen to that on the pod, you can hear how nuanced her prep got for specific interviews and kind of the level you have to be at to actually even have a shot. So that'll give you a good idea. Patrick, what do you think about quant hedge funds like Renaissance Technologies? Good luck getting in. You got to be basically a brilliant genius from what I've heard. But yeah, impressive from what I've heard. Incredible. Omar's asking, do you think 25 is too old to break in as an analyst? 25, I don't think it's ever too old, but, well, probably too. They're probably like once you're 30, 35, I think it's going to be really tough. 25, I don't think it's too old. It just depends on how you carry yourself and how you, like, what's your story when you kind of are trying to meet with people. That being said, you probably have a better bet at 25 trying to get into a top MBA or MSF if you're non-international. We're talking for US to try and break in that way to get some access to OCR. My background is currently in Mez debt. Is it possible to transition to PE? Mez debt. Yeah, I mean, you're doing Mez debt, meaning you're actually doing the investments in Mez. This is from Jace. Jace Vito 279. You said my background is currently in Mez debt. Are you actually like sell side, or are you like you're actually doing the investments in Mez? That has enough parallels where yeah, you could transition to PE. It's just going to be a little harder because they'll probably see you as like niche, and you have to explain why it's the same thing. You just basically try to like decrease the number of time mezzanine or mez is kind of mentioned in your resume, and try to emphasize the fact that you're analyzing deals and analyzing companies and evaluating them. Serious question. If you transfer undergrads and have a bad GPA at your old one, restart as a freshman, would it be odd to just leave out the old school completely? Already did a gap year. If you're restarting as a freshman, I don't think it's odd, but if there's a gap year, I don't know if the timing looks weird in the resume, it might come up. But if you're starting completely from scratch as a freshman at the new school, I would just leave the GPA off if it was shit before. Top 3 MSc financial math in UK. I have no clue, Floor. Sorry. Wall Street Convention wouldn't know how to explain the 2-year gap. Yeah, that's the tough part. If you leave it off, I mean, what I would do is just leave off. You could list the school and have the dates there, and then have it like your GPA at the new school. And so you leave the GPA off. The GPA is really good at the new school. It's like a 3.6, 3.7, whatever. And you don't have the GPA at like the one line little school like under there from like this date to that date. You at least have the dates covered, so they know you were doing something there. You can tell them you had issues and then you had to leave, whatever it may be. Have some sort of story around that, and then you're able to kind of say, but I've done really well at my current school, and then it kind of just goes away, and it's not a big deal. Working on an interview piece for MBA chick. Best piece of advice you've received or given, and the worst. Oh, that's tough. That's a tough question. Best piece of interview advice you've received? Practice, do mock interviews. A lot of mock interviews. The worst piece of advice? Just be yourself, wing it. Like, just go in, relax, or do shots before the interview. That's a good one. Omar's asking, thanks for the input. How long do you have to spend as an analyst before you're a good lateral transfer candidate? You mean lateral from one bank to the other? I'd say at least a year at a current bank. Wall Street Confessions 4.0 new GPA. Yeah, you're set. You have a 4.0. Wall Street Confessions said best advice is to take a Xanax. No comment on that. Who's my favorite user on WSO? Oh, I have so many. I got to give a shout out to Comp Banker though, the OG Comp Banker. He hasn't been active on the site for a while, but he was epically helpful for many, 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 many years. So he's definitely up there. Worst advice, don't focus on technicals. I disagree. I think people focus on technicals too much. I think you need to have the technicals, but it's like a minimum. That's a minimum bar. Like, you can't get the technicals wrong, but so many people just are terrible with like the basics, like why banking, why this industry, why this firm. They just fumble over stuff you're going to be asked. Have you not practiced it before? So it's just it's surprising. Yeah, anyways, I gotta run, guys, but thanks so much for joining, and definitely check out Monkey to Millions if you're interested in applying. We'd love to take a look, and yeah, let's do this. What kind of content would you like to see more of on WSO forums? Well, we're doing it. We're doing podcasts, we're doing AMAs, we're trying to get more helpful content for you guys. So yeah, you tell me what you want to see. Thanks, everybody. Peace.